Have you ever taken off your socks in the evening and noticed deep marks around your ankles that stay there for a long time? Or felt that your lower legs become heavy, tight, and uncomfortable by the end of the day, almost like they are carrying extra weight? I'm not talking about mild tiredness after being on your feet for a few hours. I mean that feeling when your legs seem stiff, your shoes feel tighter than they did in the morning, and bending your ankle doesn't feel as easy as it should. If this sounds familiar, I want you to listen carefully, because this kind of swelling is not just about comfort. It is often a sign that your circulation in the lower body is not working as smoothly as it could. Here is what usually happens. Throughout the day, gravity naturally pulls blood and fluid downward into your legs and feet. In a healthy system, your veins and muscles work together to push that fluid back up toward the heart. But when this system becomes weaker over time, fluid can start to collect in the tissues of the ankles and calves instead of moving along the way it should. When that fluid stays there too long, circulation slows down even more. And when circulation becomes sluggish, your legs may feel heavy, tight, and tired much earlier in the day than they used to. Many people try the usual tips. They raise their legs on the couch, they soak their feet, they try to avoid salty foods. Sometimes those things help a little, but very often the swelling still comes back the next evening. That's because most of these methods only deal with what you can see on the surface. They do not fully support the deeper systems that control how fluid moves through your body. What I want to share with you today is a calm, simple evening routine that works with your body while you rest. Not just to reduce what you see on the outside, but to support healthier circulation from the inside and the outside at the same time. Think of this as a gentle nighttime reset for your legs. This routine has 7 parts. Each one plays a different role. Together, they help your body release excess fluid, support your veins, and keep that fluid from settling again while you sleep. And please stay with me until the end, because the final step is especially important for long-term support of your blood vessels, not just short-term comfort. We start with what I like to call the internal preparation. You may have heard that salt is connected to swelling, and that is true to a point, but what many people don't realize is that fluid balance depends on more than just sodium. Your body relies on a balance between 3 main minerals: sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Your kidneys use this balance to decide how much water to hold and how much to release. When potassium or magnesium levels are lower than they should be, your cells tend to hold on to more sodium. And where sodium goes, water usually follows. So instead of just trying to remove salt, it often helps to gently support the minerals that help your cells let go of excess fluid. About 1 hour before you plan to go to bed, I recommend starting with a mineral drink. Magnesium is known for helping muscles relax, including the smooth muscles that line your blood vessels. When those vessels are more relaxed, circulation can move more freely. Many people choose magnesium citrate because it dissolves well in water and is easy to absorb. A typical amount is around 300 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium mixed into a full glass of water. To that same drink, some people also add a small amount of cream of tartar, which is a natural source of potassium. Potassium works inside the cells and helps balance the effect of sodium, encouraging your body to release extra water instead of holding it in the tissues. A small pinch, about 1/4 teaspoon, is often used. The key here is timing. Drinking this about 60 minutes before bed gives your kidneys and your circulation a chance to start moving fluid while you are still upright, when gravity can still help a little. And I do want to say something important here. If you have been told that you have kidney problems, or if your doctor has advised you to be careful with minerals like potassium or magnesium, it is very important to check with them before changing your intake. For many people, though, this first step simply helps prepare the body for better fluid movement during the night. Now, once your body is prepared on the inside, we move to the outside. Because when swelling has been present for a long time, the veins in the lower legs can become a bit less responsive. They stretch more easily and don't push blood upward as efficiently as they once did. To wake them up, we use temperature. This is sometimes called contrast therapy, and it simply means switching between warm and cold water to encourage your blood vessels to gently open and close. You will need 2 containers big enough for your feet, one with comfortably warm water and one with cold tap water. Some people like to add ice to make the cold more noticeable, but it should never be painful or unsafe. First, place your feet in the warm water for about 3 minutes. Warmth encourages blood vessels to open, bringing more circulation to the area. Then, move your feet to the cold water for about 1 minute. Cold encourages the vessels to gently tighten, helping push fluid back into the main circulation. You repeat this cycle 3 times. Warm for 3 minutes, cold for 1 minute, and always finish with the cold. When you take your feet out at the end, they will naturally begin to warm again, and this creates a fresh wave of circulation into the lower legs, helping carry away fluid that was sitting in the tissues. This is one of the fastest ways to help your legs feel lighter before you go to bed. After this, we use gravity in a helpful way. Most people know that raising the legs can help, but just resting them on a pillow does not always do very much. What really helps is combining elevation with gentle muscle movement. Lie on your back near a wall or the edge of your bed. Move your hips close to the wall and rest your legs straight up against it, forming an L shape with your body. In this position, your feet are higher than your heart, which already helps fluid move upward. But here is the important part. Every minute, gently point your toes toward the ceiling for a slow count of 5. Then pull your toes back toward your head for another slow count of 5. This movement activates the calf muscles, which act like natural pumps for your veins. Each squeeze helps push fluid out of the lower legs and into larger vessels where your body can manage it more easily. Do this for about 5 minutes. It may not look like much, but this combination of elevation and muscle movement can be very effective for supporting circulation before sleep. At this point, we have helped move a good amount of fluid out of the lower legs. But now comes another important question. Why does that fluid leak into the tissues in the first place? Over time, the smallest blood vessels, called capillaries, can become more fragile and more easily irritated. When that happens, tiny amounts of fluid can slip through the vessel walls and settle into the surrounding tissue. That is why it helps to support the skin and the vessels directly, not just from the inside, but from the outside as well. This is where a gentle upward massage becomes very useful. Instead of using a regular lotion, some people choose to use natural oils that are traditionally used to support circulation and vessel tone. One example is cypress essential oil, which is often used in massage blends to support the structure of small blood vessels. Another is rosemary essential oil, which is known for encouraging healthy local circulation. These oils are very concentrated, so they should always be mixed with a carrier oil before touching the skin. Carrier oils like coconut oil, almond oil, or grapeseed oil work well for this. A simple blend is about 1 tablespoon of carrier oil mixed with 5 drops of cypress oil and 5 drops of rosemary oil. Once mixed, sit comfortably and start with your feet. Using slow, firm strokes, massage the oil upward from your toes toward your ankles, and then from your ankles up toward your calves. Always move in the direction of your heart. This direction matters because you are helping guide fluid back into the main circulation instead of pushing it downward. Spend a little extra time on the lower part of the calves, where fluid often collects the most. You can stop just below the back of the knee. This massage is not meant to be rushed. The pressure, warmth from your hands, and the movement together all help encourage better flow and support the tissues around your veins. Once that is done, the next step is to help maintain the work you have just done while you sleep. This is where light compression can help. Some people already wear stronger compression stockings during the day, and that can be very helpful when you are upright and moving around. But sleeping in strong compression is usually not recommended because when you lie down, pressure in your circulation changes, and heavy compression can become too restrictive overnight. For bedtime, the goal is gentle, even support. Many people use light travel or flight socks that are rated around 8 to 15 millimeters of mercury. This level is enough to keep tissues from refilling with fluid, but not so tight that it interferes with comfortable circulation while you rest. Ankle or calf-height socks are usually enough for general swelling. One thing to check is the top band of the sock. If it leaves a deep, tight mark in your skin, it may be too tight for sleeping. You want gentle support, not a narrow squeeze at the top. Put the socks on right after your massage, while the tissues are still less swollen. This helps hold the reduction in place through the night. Now we come to something that many people don't realize is working against them. Even if you do all the right steps, one common evening habit can quietly undo much of your progress. And that is drinking large amounts of fluid right before bed. When you drink, that fluid doesn't disappear right away. It is processed gradually by your kidneys. If you take in a lot of liquid close to bedtime, your body is still working through that fluid while you are lying flat. And when you are horizontal, gravity is no longer helping fluid move away from the lower legs. As a result, extra fluid can simply settle in the tissues again overnight. That is why I recommend a simple cutoff. Try to stop drinking larger amounts of fluid about 3 hours before you plan to sleep. So if your goal is to be asleep around 10 in the evening, your last full glass of water or tea would be around 7. After that, only small sips if needed, especially if you are taking your final supplements. This gives your kidneys time to regulate fluid while you are still mostly upright and moving around. It also often improves sleep, since you are less likely to wake up needing to use the bathroom. At this point, we have supported drainage, circulation, vessel tone, and nighttime maintenance. Now we move to internal support for the blood vessels themselves, because for many people, long-term swelling is connected to the condition of the vessel walls. When those walls are stronger and less irritated, less fluid escapes into the surrounding tissues. There are 2 natural supplements that are often used together for this purpose. The first is horse chestnut seed extract. It has been widely used in Europe to support vein comfort and healthy vessel structure. Many products are standardized to a specific active compound, and typical daily amounts are often around 300 milligrams, depending on the product. The second is pine bark extract, sometimes called pycnogenol. This is a strong plant-based antioxidant that supports the connective tissue around blood vessels and encourages healthy microcirculation. A common amount used in studies is around 100 milligrams. Taking these in the evening can be helpful because your body does much of its tissue repair while you sleep. Providing supportive nutrients at that time may help the vessels recover and stay more resilient over time. As always, it is wise to check with your healthcare provider before starting new supplements, especially if you take other medications. These supplements are not about quick results in one night. They are about supporting the system so that swelling becomes less likely to return as often or as strongly over time. Before you settle in for the night, there is one more very common habit that can quietly block circulation in your legs, even if you follow every other step in this routine. And that habit is crossing your legs. Many people do it without thinking, while sitting on the couch, watching television, or lying on their side in bed. But when one leg rests on top of the other, it places direct pressure on the large blood vessels in the upper leg and hip area. These vessels are responsible for carrying blood and fluid back up from the lower body. When they are compressed, even gently, circulation slows down below that point. And when circulation slows, fluid has a much easier time collecting again in the ankles and calves. So when you lie down, try to keep your legs parallel and your feet resting naturally. If you prefer sleeping on your side, a body pillow or a firm pillow placed between your knees can help keep your hips, knees, and ankles aligned. This simple change helps keep the main blood vessels open and allows everything you have already done to keep working through the night. Think of it as keeping the pathway clear after you have already helped move things along. Now, let's quickly review the full evening routine so it is easy to remember. First, about 1 hour before bed, you support your mineral balance with magnesium and a small amount of potassium, giving your body time to start releasing excess fluid while you are still upright. Second, you use warm and cool water on your feet to gently encourage your blood vessels to open and close, helping move fluid out of the lower legs. Third, you raise your legs and actively move your ankles to engage your calf muscles, using both gravity and muscle movement to push fluid upward. Fourth, you massage upward with a circulation-supporting oil blend, helping strengthen tissues and guide fluid back toward the heart. Fifth, you use light compression socks designed for rest, helping prevent fluid from settling again while you sleep. Sixth, you stop drinking large amounts of fluid about 3 hours before bedtime, giving your kidneys time to regulate fluid before you lie down. And seventh, you support your blood vessels from the inside with nutrients that help maintain healthy vessel walls over time. None of these steps are extreme. None of them are harsh. But together they create an environment where your circulation can work more easily instead of constantly fighting against gravity and weakened vessels. What matters most is consistency. Doing this once may help you feel lighter the next morning, but doing it regularly is what gives your body the chance to gradually improve how it manages fluid day after day. Many people find that after a few weeks of steady routines, their legs feel more comfortable earlier in the day, not just at night. Shoes feel less tight, skin feels less stretched, and moving around simply feels easier. And that matters, because comfort in your legs affects how much you walk, how active you feel, and how confident you are in your daily movements. Before we finish, I want to gently remind you of something important. Swelling is not just something to ignore or push through. It is one of the ways your body asks for support. Listening to those signals and responding with calm, steady habits is one of the most practical forms of self-care, especially as the years go by. If you found this routine helpful, the next thing I encourage you to look at is what you eat every day. Some everyday foods can quietly increase irritation in the blood vessels and make fluid balance harder to manage. Others can support vessel flexibility and circulation in very helpful ways. In the next video, I will walk through a few common foods that may be working against your circulation and some better alternatives that are easier on your system. That knowledge, combined with this nightly routine, can make a real difference in how your legs feel over time. For now, start with tonight. Give your body a calm, supportive evening and let it do what it is designed to do while you rest. You deserve to wake up feeling lighter and more comfortable, ready to move through the day with a little more ease.